Welcome to VF Youth Awards. This is the part of our experience where we shout out some incredible people for doing some incredible things. This award goes out to Addison Connor, who won our TikTok Tuesday challenge by a landslide. Way to go, Addison. Check out her TikTok.
When you're spending every day on your own, and here it goes. I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare.
Today we're debuting a brand new segment on Youth Awards. This is called Taco Time.
Hey, you're awesome!
You're awesome! Woo! You're awesome!
You're
This award goes out to one of our incredible youth leaders. Rob Reese, this one's for you. Thank you so much for helping to keep our students connected through the 11th and 12th grade Zoom groups. You've led in games, TikToks, and so much more. You're a rock star. And that's it for VF Youth Awards this week. Make sure that you tag us in anything creative that you do. You never know when an award will head your way.
Boom. So this is what it looks like when you're a part of a VF Youth Zoom group. Let's go. Pastor Brielle, what we got going on?
We're going to be having a lot of fun, and so basically the rules are this. We're going to give you 15 seconds to find each item. You've got to bring that item back to the screen and show it in the screen. So it'll be fun. Ready? 15 seconds to find a potted plant.
Potted
Go.
plant.
Oh, right here.
Right here. No way.
Does it have to be living? We can't hear you.
Pastor Grant, you're muted or something. Your mic's not working well.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what it looks like to have a VF Youth Zoom group. So make sure you get connected and get plugged in.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to VF Youth Live. We're so glad that you're here with us tonight. We have the opportunity to dive into a topic that you guys have asked a lot of questions about. Tonight, we're going to talk about worship. And I thought, what better way to do this than to invite a few incredible people, some of our friends and some of our staff, to be able to talk about this topic. So welcome with me, Pastor Christy and Pastor Chris. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Man, when we thought, hey, let's talk about worship, students are asking questions, we thought, who better to ask than the two of you? So thank you guys for taking the time to be here with us tonight. So let's just go ahead and jump right in tonight. The first question is this: what role has worship played in your personal lives?
Chris?
Worship, what role has it played in my life? A lot of roles. One of the main roles that it's played for me is it's kind of been like a soother. Not that worship is fully about emotion, but I come from a background of having like a really bad temper and not ability to focus on others. So it's been able to soothe and settle like things that have been kind of unpeaceful in my spirit and my mind, like even tormented thoughts, different things of that nature. Even today, like whenever, like not today, but in these days, whenever I have like thoughts that like try to come up against what God has spoken or what I know from God, fear, doubt, and all that stuff, I can usually rely on worship to kind of recenter me and just getting in the presence of God to be recentered and realigned with what He thinks, what He says, and different things like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Really good. I would say for me, it's always been sort of a language that I guess I don't see myself as like someone who speaks well, and I've had like learning disabilities in my life, and so it was always difficult for me to convey what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. And a lot of times I could get, my words can get twisted, or things don't come out how I want them to. And so with music and with praise and worship, especially, it's kind of given me a language that I feel like the Lord understands. And like, even if my heart can't speak what I want to say, sometimes I can just worship, and it's like I just know that he understands me and gets me. Does that make sense?
Oh, so good.
So, I don't know.
So good. Awesome. Well, how about this next question? What are some different expressions of worship that you would encourage students to engage in, and why? And when we talk about this, I know a lot of students, they're new to the faith. They're new to this whole thing, and they come into an experience, or maybe they're at home worshiping, and they're thinking, okay, you say worship, but what do you mean when you say that? What are some ways that they can express worship to God?
Go for it. No.
I would start by saying, I think a lot of times today, people coming into the knowledge and understanding believe that worship is a song or a song tempo. Right. But I always say that worship isn't a song that we sing, but it's a song that our lives sing to Him. So your expression of worship, there's an expression that happens when we all come together and we worship with our hands lifted and we make claps. Some people dance. There are a lot of different expressions of worship. But the biggest expression of worship, I heard a preacher say a long time ago, one of the greatest expressions of worship is obedience.
Oh, wow.
So if you're living your life in obedience to Christ, in obedience to God, then that worship, that life of worship is an expression. So other people see that expression and they begin to want to desire what you have, that relationship that you're growing in. And it's a start from obedience. Everything begins and ends with a decision.
Right.
So choose to obey, choose to walk your life out in worship. And then in a musical setting, we lift our hands, as an expression. Like I said, find your expression, whatever it is. It's not necessarily a thing of comfort, but a thing of where you feel home at.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I may not feel home raising my hands, but I might feel at home bobbing side to side.
Yeah.
Where that home in worship is, that find your expression, and that's what you should engage
That's
in.
so good.
Yeah, that's good.
So good.
Yeah, I would say, like you said, people always assume worship is the music side of, whatever church. But I think worship is basically just showing worth and giving worth to something.
That's so good.
And so our worship can look a number of different ways. Like, you having integrity at work is worship.
Absolutely.
You not cheating on your homework is worship. You respecting your parents.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Not stabbing your friend in the back. That's worship. Like everything that we do to honor God is worship, or everything that we don't do.
Right.
And so we have to see worship not as a time in church where I sing a song or, but worship is every single thing I do is either worshiping God or worshiping something else. So we can easily worship, pop stars. We can easily worship video games. We can easily worship. It's whatever we're giving worth and time and energy and sacrifice to. So
That's good. And I've heard it said, whatever you give your time, your talent, and your treasure to, that shows where your worship goes to. Like, you are always worshiping, but it all comes down to where is that worship being directed. And so I think that makes it a lot simpler, students, just to know that you are worshiping. Let's just turn the direction of our worship towards God and not just think of it as something that, it's a specific act. No, it's how I live my life and who I live my life for. And so that's so good, guys.
yeah, the Bible says we were literally created to worship
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Lord. And so our very makeup, our very being, we were created to worship. And so that's how the enemy gets us a lot of times is he knows that we are worshipers.
Right.
And so what we worship is the big deal. So is our focus the Lord, or is our focus something other than the Lord? So
Yeah, his goal isn't to get you to stop worshiping, just to change the aim of your worship.
Ooh, that's good.
So
That's good.
that's good. All right, the next question would be this. What is your favorite worship song of all time? But secondly, what's your favorite one in this season? Since we are going through such a interesting time, give us
Sure.
both. Give us both.
Do you know?
All time is so hard.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I have a musical background in current life or whatever. So I think one of my favorite worship tunes of all time, I'm gonna go with like what I answered on the Instagram Live the other night. I love "All Hail King Jesus" with Jeremy Riddle. It's just a beautiful story. It's probably through song one of the best told stories of the death and resurrection of Christ, the Easter story, if you will. And then I'm gonna go with two more. Fred Hammond, "Lost in You Again." Yes.
Love me some
My
Fred.
search will not end till I find myself lost in you again. And that's just that one phrase encompasses the whole song. And then thirdly, Hillsong, "So Will I." It's probably one of the most
Yeah.
poetically written songs in my lifetime for sure.
Absolutely.
That is one that will stand the test of time. Yeah, it's so good. So I think as far as like back in the day, like growing up, I think something that always just captured my heart was "It Is Well With My Soul." And it's something that's just always like,
Yeah.
no matter how old I
Add
am,
that to my list, please.
right?
Yeah.
I know.
It centers you.
It really does. Like, and no matter what happens in our lives, good or bad, we can always say it as well.
Yeah.
And that's something Pastor Ade says all the time, and Dooney,
yeah.
all the time. They like, yeah, it is well with you, and it's because that's speaking authority over our lives.
Right.
Like, you know, we have been given that right from Christ to say, like, I can speak authority over my situation, and it is well.
Right.
I'm good. We're solid. Like, God's got me, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's always just something that sticks with me. I would say probably current that in this particular season of my life, God's like really done a work in me and like trying to refine me and get me right. So there's a lot of songs about refining that are speaking to me. And there's one called Gold that we actually introduced a couple worship sets ago.
Yeah.
And it just talks about refining. And then there's one by Maverick City Worship, which you kids should go find them and listen to them.
All of them.
Yeah, they just released a new record, but a song called Refiner.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful expression of the Lord is so gentle when he refines us.
Right.
It's a difficult process, but it's not an aggressive, mean process.
Right.
Our God is so faithful to be gentle and kind, and that's his very nature. And so when he corrects us, he does that very kindly, but he also, it hurts.
Yeah.
But he's there to, kind of help us along the way. So and then New Wine's really good. It's kind of about
Yeah.
refining, so yeah.
So good. So good. All right. How has worship helped you through a difficult season in your life?
Kind of how I said earlier, it's just being a recentering. Difficult seasons have the tendency to kind of knock us off of the path, to kind of steal our focus away from what's really important, to cause us to doubt. Difficult seasons have the tendency to do that, and if we could just find ourselves like that, it's sometimes like just an inkling of thought, like I just need to worship through this.
Yeah.
And worship it'll recenter you. The peace of God will always come in, and it'll add peace to the storm.
Right.
So
That's
worship
so good.
it's that peace, and we sang about peace last week, and just even especially with the times that we're dealing with right now, people are unsettled. There's so much uncertainty, especially with the oil and gas industry, what's happening with that. It's just a lot of uncertainty, but like the God of peace is the God above all of those things.
Right. Absolutely.
And he's greater than anything that can fall in our world. He can still lift that thing back up and bring peace to a crazy situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So can you restate the question? I just wanna
Yeah,
make sure I'm answering
absolutely.
correctly.
How has worship helped you through a difficult season in
Through
life?
difficult season? So, I think when the Bible talks about like God sits in the middle of the praises of his people.
Yeah.
And so when we worship, we're allowing God to come in and take over. And the very presence of God is healing. The very presence of God is restoring. The very presence of God is, captivating. And so you learn all of these things in the presence of God, and and he's also doing a work in you that you don't even know sometimes.
Right.
And so I think if we can always, that can be our go-to, that can be our default, is to always just worship until we know what to do.
Right,
Because
right.
God gives wisdom in the middle of, in the middle of worship. A lot of times that's where I'll find like my direction.
Right.
Is like you said, this, he centers you, he aligns your mind with his and your mind with his word. And then, he begins to draw things out of you, and then he begins to drop things into you in his presence. And so that's where he sits, and I want to be wherever God's sitting. He's literally sitting in the middle of our worship. So that's a tool that we always have in our back pocket, and it shouldn't be a last resort. It should be our first go-to.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for talking with me today. And man, students, I encourage you, begin to study this for yourself. Begin to dive into what worship looks like for you. I know that we've even asked our youth team and started going into this question a lot of, why do I worship, and how can we talk to students about that? So we thought that we'd ask some other students why they worship, and here's what they had to say.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to explain why I worship. My answer is super simple. It's just because he deserves it. God is so deserving. He gives us his very best daily. And so when we're in moments of worship, we should be giving him our very best, because when we do, that's when he allows us into his presence. And his presence is unlike anything that we'll ever experience on this earth. And it's so great that we have access to his presence through worship.
I worship not only because we're called to as Christians, but because it gives me a purpose, and I know my purpose as a Christian is to love God and love people. And I think worship is just an outward expression of loving him and sharing him and what he's done in your life.
Hey fam, I'm Reagan, and worshiping is really important to me because it's the time that I feel closest to God. Plus, you can do it anywhere you are, whether it's driving to work in your car or sitting at home by yourself.
For me, it's giving thanks for all that God has done through me and what he's going to do through me. Praise and worship is a very powerful tool that glorifies God and rages the enemy at the same time. And with most of us being stuck at home, there's really nothing better to do. So I encourage you, if you, I can understand it being weird at first, but just put some headphones on, listen to some praise and worship music, and just pray intentionally, and the rest will come naturally.
For me, why I worship, I just think it's a time where I can really feel God moving in me and really get connected to him. I feel like in these uncertain times, that's a great outlet to go to, just to feel his presence and feel like he's got this whole thing under control. I hope you guys stay safe. I love you guys and hope to see you soon.
Hey family, we're super excited we get to worship with you tonight. We just heard some great information from Pastor Christy and Chris, and I would just encourage you right now to step into this moment of worship and worship with us.
See what you can do, oh God of wonders. Your power has no end. And the things you've done before, in greater measures, you will do again. 'Cause there's no prison wall you can't break through, no mountain you can't move. All things are possible. And there's no broken body you can raise, no soul that you can't save. All things are possible. The darkest night, you can light it up. Oh, you can light it up. God of the revival, let hope arise. already won. God of revival. You rose in victory, and now you're seated forever on the throne. So why should my heart fear what you've defeated? I can trust in you alone, 'cause there's no prison wall you can't break through, no mountain you can't move. All things are possible. And there's no broken body you can't raise, no soul that you can't save. All things are possible. The darkest night, you can light it up. Oh, you can light it up. God of the revival, let hope arise. Death is overcome. You've already won. God of the revival. God of revival. Come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. Oh, God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh, God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. Oh, God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh, God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. The darkest night, you can light it up. Yes, you can light it up. Oh, God of the revival, let hope arise. Death is overcome. You've already won. God of the revival, let hope arise. Death is overcome, and you've already won. God of the revival, let hope arise, and death is overcome, and you've already won. God of the revival. Oh, God of revival, awaken your people. Come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. So God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. We'll hear the chains hit the ground. Oh, God of revival, pour it out, pour it out.
God, we thank you that you're the God of revival. You're the God of breakthrough. You're the God who fights our battles for us, Jesus. We thank you that hope is rising tonight. God, you light up the darkest night. You bring hope where there is no hope, Jesus. There's a table that you prepare for me in the presence of my enemies. It's your body and your blood you shed for me. This is how I fight my battles. sing that again. There's a table. There's a table that you prepared for me in the presence of my enemies. And it's your body and your blood you shed for me. This is how I fight my battles. Sing, I believe. And I believe you've overcome it. I will lift my song of praise for all you've done. Come on, sing this. And this is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how and this is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how with praise, with thanksgiving, with praise, with my thanksgiving. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This I know. May look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. No more anxiety, Jesus. It may look like, but I'm surrounded by you. Every time it may look like, but I'm surrounded by you, Jesus. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. With praise, with praise. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how it may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you, Jesus. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This I know, this I'm confident, Jesus. This I know, this I'm confident, Jesus. Jesus, we're surrounded by your presence even now, Jesus. God, I pray for the person that's feeling anxiety, Jesus, in this time. God, your peace is so much bigger, so much greater. God, we are not overcome by fear. We are not overcome by anxiety because you have already overcome us, Jesus. You're surrounding us tonight as a shield. God, you've already gone before us, and we're just confident in that. We thank you for your presence, Jesus. Amen. Thanks so much for worshiping with us. Man, his presence is here, and I know his presence is with you at home. We're about to move into a video, but I just want to say I love you guys. Thanks for worshiping with us, and I'm just declaring peace over you tonight in Jesus' name. Check out this video.
barely made it to Newcastle. We got a long way to go.
Are you kidding me? And we're back with interviews from a distance.
And in Newcastle.
This was a terrible idea. I need you to know that. All right, Grant, give us our first question.
All right, question number 1. Would you rather be quarantined at school for a week or at home for a month?
I would personally rather be stuck at school because I get sick of my family sometimes.
I think I'd rather be stuck at home.
Question number 2. This is going to be our rapid fire round. So I'm going to give you 2 things. You've got to tell me which one you like better. Deal? All right. The first one, Instagram or TikTok?
I would say Instagram.
Okay.
Same.
Sonic or Brahms?
Brahms.
Yes, true Oklahomans.
Final question. What do you miss most about meeting in person for VF Youth?
Worship and small groups.
I'd say small groups and like hangout nights.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Interviews from a Distance. Thanks, girls. We had a lot of fun.
Join us on our continued journey for more amazing interviews. We'll see you.
There's some kids over there. Who is that?
I think I see a sign, a VFC sign. Is that? Wait.
What are you guys doing? I guess it's time for another segment of Interviews from a Distance.
In Newcastle.
Grant, first question.
First question coming at you. Who is better at Fortnite?
It has to be me.
Yeah, totally him, because I can't like, it takes me a long time to focus. But this kid's like, I can't catch up.
Time for question number 2, and this is our rapid fire round. First of all, LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan. Yeah, all the way, Jordan.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox. Easy.
Same kind of questions, rapid fire, but this time you're gonna say either your mom or your dad. So here we go. Who is funnier?
My dad.
That's hard because both of them are goofy sometimes. But my dad, yeah, my dad.
Which one is the better singer?
Mom. Easy.
Mom.
Which parent is a better driver?
Oh.
Mom. Easy. Dad's like,
my dad.
My dad.
He's gonna crash when he's supposed to be going slow, but he's slow when he's supposed to be going fast.
Final question of the night. What are you guys most excited about for moving into middle school next year?
More freedom.
Yeah, freedom. Yeah.
And that concludes this interview from the perspective of a future youth student.
We'd like to thank our lovely hosts for letting us interview them today. And again, check us out for some more interviews coming very soon. Thanks, guys.
Gosh, is that the Dunn's house?
I hope so, because finally we're done.
No, we're not done. It's the Dunn family. Come on, let's go find Izzy.
We're done.
And we're back with Interviews from a Distance. And today we've got Izzy here. So we're going to ask you several questions. Tell us your answers, but make sure that you stay over there. We want to keep a safe distance.
All right. Question number 1. Would you rather be grounded from video games or from your phone?
Probably my phone, because I'm usually grounded from my phone anyway.
Oh, so that's why you didn't text me back. Okay. All right.
Okay. Let's move on to question number 2. This one's going to be rapid fire. So I'm going to list 2 things and you've got to tell us which one you like better, okay? The first one is baseball or football?
Baseball, because I'm better at it.
OU or OSU?
OU, because
Yes.
Grant's an Oklahoma State fan.
Honestly, I'm not even going to respond to that. I don't even care.
Okay. Pizza or burgers?
Probably burgers, because I usually have pizza like 4 times a week.
I get that. This is our last and final question, maybe a little bit more serious. What do you miss most about everyday life before quarantine?
Baseball practice, because I get to hang out with my friends. And Coach Stewart, who's also a small group leader for Norman.
That's awesome.
All right, this concludes our interview from a distance. We'd like to thank our host, Mr. Izzy back here. Thank you so much for letting us join you today. Thanks for watching, by the way, and we'll see you soon.
You never know where we'll end up next. We're coming your way.
And welcome back to VF Youth News. Thank you for joining us today. First on our list today is summer camp. Man, summer camp is coming up very soon, and you want to be a part of it, man. I've been hearing reports that, man, quarantine snacks, they got nothing on camp snacks. We got an awesome concession stand and some great food. Man, just an incredible time with fun and games and friends. Be there, be a part of it. Sign up now on our website. You can find the link there. A little short form to fill out. Takes no time, so sign up today. Next up, man, our youth YouTube account. I talked about it last week, but there's some great videos on there, and I want you to go today and subscribe, like every video, maybe hit the little bell, that way you're notified when we go live, or upload a video, and you never know. Maybe one day you might end up on our YouTube channel yourself. So check that out today. And now I'd like to welcome a special guest to the show.
Hi there.
Welcome, Mr. Garrett.
Hi, good to be here, Bill.
Okay, that's not my name.
Yeah, sure thing, Bill.
So obviously, there's been just a ravishing,
This is a great
incredible,
set.
captivating documentary on Michael Jordan that has just taken the attention of the entire country. And so I brought our special Jordan expert to the show today to talk about some shoes.
So,
what do you got for
listen,
us?
great shoe, the Jordan 1. Go ahead, toss me that shoe. Oh, snap. Hold on. Wait, no. This is the LeVar Ball, not the Jordan 1. Don't want that. Never lost, by the way. I need the real Jordan 1. There we go. Oh, boom. See that? See that beauty right there? Jordan 1.
nice.
See, beautiful. Okay, so
I like it.
Fun fact, Jordan scored 500 points in one game in these shoes right here. These shoes, you see that? Boom.
Oh,
Look at that. Look at that.
True.
Huh?
I don't think that, you need to check your sources. That's not accurate.
What do you know, okay? All right, another fun fact about this shoe. The reason it is green, it is the Kermit the Frog green shoe. Jordan, I repeat, Michael Jeffrey Jordan loves Sesame Street.
That's okay. There's so many things that are incorrect with your information. I don't even. Why are you even here? Like,
Listen, I'm an expert. The only thing you're an expert on is the Bieber swoosh. Look at that hair, okay? These shoes are beautiful. They're amazing. Like I said, Jordan scored 1,000 points in one game in these basketball shoes. Look at them, all right?
This is not. I'm done. Get out of here.
You know what? Hey, I don't even need this, okay? I don't even need. You know, I don't have time for this. Bye.
This is enough. Take your chair. Take your shoe. Enough of that. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, next on our list, man, Zoom groups. Zoom groups are happening all the time, and I want you to be a part of it. I don't want you to miss out on the connection with family. It's a great time. All kinds of different fun and games happening that you should be a part of. So sign up again on our website. You can find a link there to sign up for a Zoom group and be a part of one today. And then lastly, last Friday, we had an incredible time on our Zoom group game night. And man, again, this Friday night, Zoom group game night is coming up. We had such a fun time playing the game all together as one family. And man, I encourage you, be a part of it. You don't want to miss it this Friday night. Join the Zoom groups and be there. I can't tell you yet what the game is, but I promise you, you don't want to miss it. Well, that's all for me. Thank you for joining me again for VF Youth News. We'll catch you next time.